Unison of the footwork, most important. But good leans there. Good. Infamous Choctaw. He's driven many amateur dancers, recreational dancers, wild.
The dreaded Choctaw.
See, there's no change of position between the two. They stay exactly the same in relation to each other throughout the entire dance.
All right, second in the French National Championships last year were Paliard and Courtois.
You know, these dances also are exhausting. They look easy. The
Really?
idea is to make it look most elegant. Like, look at how stylish and elegant these are. But underneath it all, there's a tremendous amount of athletic demand in this. See the swing. One of the things that they're supposed to do, unless there's a change of edge in any particular stroke, they have to move from a lean of one side on the very next step to the lean in the other direction. And the lean must come at the moment of changing feet. It's tough.
Marks ranging from 4-1 to 4-8.
15th Olympic Winter Games, and ABC's coverage continues.
Viera Řeháková and Ivan Havránek of Czechoslovakia. Ninth in the European Championships this year.
Watch how they cross, and then turn. Right there, cross, and then the turn. And what makes that an open Choctaw is the fact that the feet don't cross each other afterwards, but the hips remain open. Otherwise, it would be called a closed Choctaw. And what makes it a Choctaw and not a Mohawk is that it goes from the same edge to the same edge, i.e. inside edge to inside edge.
Okay. See what their marks will be as they prepare for them.
You know,
Single mark in ice dancing. Yeah.
you really got to watch your edges. There, see it right there. You've really got to watch your edges on this. If you slip just the slightest way and go up onto a flat or onto the other edge, the lean of the body will show, the judges will recognize it, and the mark will reflect it.
Well, there are their marks from 4-4 to 4-7.
The next competitor, the Lebanon, representing Poland, Honorata, Górna, Andrzej, Dostatni.
The Polish couple, Honorata, Górna and Andrzej, Dostatni. Polish champions, 12th in the Europeans this year.
Now, he's quite tall, 6'3". That helps, I think, in ice dancing. It extends the line.
This is the first of 3 compulsory dances to be skated here today. A long program, about 6 hours in all, and almost a capacity crowd here, which is quite a tribute to the sport of ice dancing.
The aficionados of ice dancing are extremely dedicated, extremely dedicated. Look at the counterclockwise action that they use, the way they see right here. They allow their bodies to reverse. That's the 6 repetitions of the dance.
Górna and Dostatni of Poland. Their home is in Gdansk. The solidarity movement all began.
Now look at those right there. A firm edge is always essential in this dance. Look at the lean of the bodies. Now from that outside edge to that outside edge. And no change of edge in there.
Górna and Dostatni looking for their mark. See how everybody goes for a glass of water. The air here in Calgary is extremely dry. Small delay on the marks, but they should be coming up. She's only 19 years old, is Górna. She's 22. And there we are, from 3.9 to 4.3. Now, from the United States, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory, 5th in the World Championships last year. They're the United States champions. They earned that honor in January, although Scott was suffering from a very, very painful back injury. How's that been coming since then, Dick?
I think it's been smoothing out and been a little easier for him. He still has a problem with it. He's got to have it corrected.
Scott himself says it's almost 100%. So we'll see.
Now look at the expression on her part. She is a firecracker. Look for these deep edges. That's what's important, the speed that they have in the way they're moving. And you notice the pattern is different already. They're placing it in a different spot. Look at those edges right there. Very nice, deep, look.
Susie from Bridgeville, PA. Scott from Skaneateles, New York.
Look at the lean. Look. Now the outside edge here. And the progressive steps. The swing, the cross, the Choctaw. No.
Have to sell it to the crowd a little bit with a big smile, and Susie's good at that. And to the judges. Okay, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory.
Now it might be just that they were a little bit out of unison there. I don't know how serious that will be or what the judge's reaction will be to it. But let's take a look at the pattern of the Kilian again. This pattern is as it's laid down in the rule book. In actuality, the ice pattern is a little more elongated. Right there, the cross Choctaw that we see. And that's the pattern right there, a half a circle. It's repeated to create the full circle. Now, this appears just somewhat more circular than we see on the actual ice. Remember, there are 14 steps, only 14 steps in that dance. It's a very short dance, but it must be done with speed and elegance and line.
Good marks here from 5.0 from the British judge to a 5.5 from the French judge.
Now, you see, I think they probably would have gotten a little higher marks had they not that little unison problem.
Le prochain concurrent de l'Italie, Trovati, Roberto Pelizzola.
The Italian champion, Leo Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola. 7th in the Europeans this year.
different types of music can be used for a Kilian, such as a march, a schottische, a foxtrot, a polka, as long as it's expressed the rhythm of this particular dance, the Kilian dance.
And this particular group sounds like a polka to me.
The music changes from group to group.
That's right.
Very pretty, isn't she? The legs and the edges must be in accordance with the rules. It's the upper part of the body that the dancers can use to express themselves differently from each other. And one of the important things to remember here is the skating ability, the stroking, the speed. Remember how crisp and precise Torvill and Dean were, and what superb skating Blumberg and Siebert did. That was the epitome. Look at the lean, see here, the way they go from edge to edge.
Compulsory dance is supposed to be the weakness of this couple, but they look pretty good at that.
Well, they're fine, you know. I mean, they're just lovely to watch. How can you run them down when they're so elegant and nice looking? But the really spiffy skating, I think we have yet to see.
And the marks. Well, they're pretty good. 4-7 to 5-2.
From Calgary, Alberta, home to the 15th Olympic Winter Games, ABC's exclusive coverage continues.
Compulsory ice dancing continues with one of the more important couples here, Natalia Annenko and Genrikh Sretenski of the Soviet Union. Now, they were fourth in the 1987 World Championships. They are perhaps the heirs apparent.
I think the real question in ice dancing, after the two top Soviet pairs, is who's going to come into third place. It is between this couple, Wilson and McCall, Semanick and Gregory, and the Deschênes from Canada and France. We'll get into that story shortly. But this is one of the couples in for the bronze medal. Remember, they're all searching for that bronze medal or a silver medal or whatever against the two top Soviet pairs, Bestemianova and Bukin and Klimova and Ponomarenko. This couple is very impressive. They're wonderfully elegant.
They were second to Bestemianova and Bukin in the European Championships, but Klimova and Ponomarenko weren't there because of illness.
Now, she took from Ponomarenko, from Pakimova, who subsequently died.
All right, Annenko and Sretenski of the Soviet Union. Much appreciated by the crowd here. They even make their exit graceful.
Oh, they're lovely. Look right here. I mean, you can just see how much they are leaning. Those edges, precise, clean, very. Look at that right there. The two legs step one smack in front of the other. That was very, very precise. Superlative.
And the marks also close to superlative. 5-3 to 5-7. 5-7 from the Soviet judge. The 5-3 from West Germany. Now, Antonio Becker and Ferdinand Becker, they are twins from West Germany. Seventh in last year's World Championships, the West German champions. Well, they certainly should be well matched.
Well, they certainly facially they are similar, aren't they?
biology major at the University of Konstanz. I guess he likes surfing. I don't know where you surf in Germany.
Now look at the three-legged right there as it steps out. Very sharp. Right here it comes again, right there. Fine thrust.
The Becker twins of Germany, West.
I think it's also clear from the marks of the past skaters that the Soviet pair of Annenko and Sretenski, along with Wilson and McCall, are two of the people that are at this moment in, in close contention for one of those medals. Isn't that movement nice? The upper part of the body. Very, very handsome couple.
Upper part of the body almost immobile. So everything's going on below.
That's where they have the opportunity to express themselves. The edges and the steps must be precise.
4-7 to 5-3. From Hungary, Clara Engi and Attila Toth.
1 point is worth looking at very closely. Every one of the steps, the 14 steps in this dance, is a one-beat step, except for one, and that is the third step into the event, and that's a two-beat step.
They were 8th in last year's World Championship. They've moved up year by year from 14th to 11th to 8th.
Actually, the two steps have two beats. All the rest are one-beat steps. 1, 2, 3. No, here's the dance start. There are the two-beat steps. There. Both deep curving edges to the outside. The change of lean, by the way, must fall right between the two steps. They cannot overlap.
They certainly use the whole rink. They come within about 6 inches of the sideboard.
It's a very fast and aggressive dance, and it doesn't slow down for a minute.
From Hungary, Budapest.
A little extra flair there as they walked off that dance. Remember, there are certain steps that you can use going into the dance and out of the dance, but the dance itself must once again follow this pattern. Very precise, very exact. 14 steps, change there, the Choctaw, and the end of the dance there. Half a circle, a full circle, the dance repeats twice. Those are the exact steps of the Kilian, laid out in the rule book, first performed in 1909. Very demanding, counterclockwise, circular pattern.
And the marks for Engi and Toth. There you see them ranging from 5-0 to 5-2.
Put a straw hat on Dick, he'd call a whole set for you, wouldn't he? The Soviet skaters yet to come, and of course they are the principals in the ice dancing.
The 15th Olympic Winter Games, brought to you by Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Johnson & Johnson. Yes, sir, that's my baby shampoo. and Campbell Soup Company since 1869, offering you goodness in a wide variety of exciting foods.
Sharon Jones and Paul Askham of Great Britain. 8th in the European Championships this year.
You know, the British have traditionally, through the years, been very powerful ice dancing. Ice dancing, like ballroom dancing, sort of got a hold. It struck a friendly nerve in the English consciousness. The World Ballroom Dance Championships are held there. It's been a very receptive area for it. The Russians have come in, the Soviet Union has come in very powerfully in the last few years, but the English have been great ice dancers, traditionally.
Jones and Askham. Whitenshaw. Talking about ballroom dancing in England, there's been a very popular show on British television for, to my knowledge, at least 25 years called Let's Go Dancing, the dance contest.
Few outgoing steps. You're allowed up to 7 steps to enter the dance, to prepare to enter the dance, to build up speed and to get into position for it, and you're allowed a limited amount of moves afterwards. If you overpose or over dramatize those elements, the judges get very unhappy.
There are Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean, the greatest of all time in the sport.
And they're reporting for Australian television.
Mark score note for Sharon Jones and Paul.
The footwork of this last couple.
Very nice.
4.3.
Very nice.
4.5.
And the marks.
4.8. 4.5.
In the fours, as you see, from 4.5 to 4.9 for Jones and Askham of England. Now, from Quebec and from France, we have Isabelle and Paul Duchesne, or is it Duchesne?
Well,
they pronounce it one way here, one way in France.
They pronounced now you're going to mix me up on it. Deschenais in France and Duchesne here in Canada. But the important thing is that they left and went to skate for the French because, number one, they have the opportunity through citizenship, dual citizenship, but also because they felt that in Canada they would not have the opportunity to get ahead against another Canadian pair, the Garocinos. I think that's a subject for another conversation. Certain animalism about them, a very emotional kind of approach. They are not as crisply elegant, for example, as Annenko and Sretenski or some of the other skaters, but there's a quality there. And I think we'll see that quality emphasized ever more in their free dance, which is called Savage Right.
Isabelle and Paul Duchesne, brother and sister from Aylmer, Quebec, skating for France. He was actually born in France. She was not. and they will await their marks. They actually train in Oberstdorf, West Germany. They've got a lot of countries going on.
Well, that's a great training center. That's where Torvill and Dean trained, and that's where Torvill and Dean have helped them with their dancing. In fact, Christopher Dean choreographed their freestyle program, Savage Right. We'll be seeing that in the next few days.
Marks will not put them among the leaders, but they're very respectable marks.
Set, if you will, this competition counting about 30% of the competition. We'll rejoin Jim McKay and Dick Button.
We move to the final group in the first dance of the compulsory figures for ice dancing. Here are the standings. Wilson and McCall of Canada first, then the Soviet pair, Annenko and Sretenski, and then Semanick and Gregory of the United States, and there you see 4, 5, and 6. On the ice now, Suzanne Wynn and Joseph Drouhar of the United States, silver medalists in the United States Nationals this year.
Flip there. Now that is extremely dangerous and really disastrous in ice dancing competition. Mistakes are simply not made in this portion of the competition. Remember, there are no throw axles, triple jumps. When you make a mistake on a step, it counts. Now that trip could easily have been caused by a rut. You know, the ruts get very deep in this kind of situation.
Final group of the first of three dances to be skated today in the compulsories. Well, Suzanne Wynn and Joseph Drouhar, they get good support here, but
They're
one
very,
mistake should cost them.
They're very, you know, good dancers. They really are. They have a little, right there. You can see her edge. She caught in that thing, and that was it.
No,
It's minor. You know, you can hardly see it, but
in this aspect, it really costs you.
Oh, absolutely. It glares out.
Let's see. Bit of a delay on the marks.
they're all in the eye.
Here they come now. Well, West German judge is watching for them as they come for West Germany a 4-4. He really penalized them to a 5-0 by the Soviet judge and the Hungarian judge.
Well, they did
and
not.
The United States judge.
They simply did not have the same crispness or attack of the Soviets.
From Austria, Katrin and Christoph Beck. 5th in the European Championships this year, 6th in the world last year. They've been in the United States quite a bit for 3 different skating camps, notably Ron Ludington from Delaware.
And I think the essence of their skating is that they are traditionalists in the true sense of the word. Their free dance, which we'll be seeing later, does not break ground.
Oh, mistake there.
There you go. Another trip. This is one of the dance couples that is going to be right up in the contention for 1 medal. With Annenko and Sretenski of the Soviet Union, the Deshinis, Semanick and Gregory.
Christoph keeps a pretty full schedule. He's a law student.
You know, interestingly, their unison was not superb in this. Her body was so wide of his after those forward steps that you could see air between them. You're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to stay very close together, be very lined up. Look at that right there. You can just see that. when that happens, look at it right here now. Watch the forward step. Oops, see? Now
Almost went down.
I suspect that that's again because she slipped in a rut. I would think it's, you know, becoming quite difficult here as these skaters repeat the same pattern. They are deep edges and they cut into the ice.
They're skating in each other's track.
That's right.
Like free skating.
That's why they try to move the pattern a little bit to get out of those ruts.
They who decide the fate, the judges.
There's Nancy Mace of the United States.
There they come. They'll be up in a moment, looks like. And the marks for the Becks are good. 5-1 to 5-4. Despite the stumble there.
Well, a 5-1 for the Becks, I think, is not what they were looking for.
Okay. Corinne and Rod Garosino of Canada, another brother and sister team from Toronto.
Representing Canada, du Canada.
Interestingly, they were born on the same date, but 2 years apart.
Now, it was this couple that really, in the early stages of their ice dancing career, that forced the Deschênes to move to France and represent France.
This couple was second in the Canadian National Championships this year, behind Wilson and McCall, who are the current leaders of this competition to this point. Live in Toronto now, but they grew up here in Calgary. Calgary loves its own, as a good city should.
Of course. Of course. I don't think they're going to rank closely, however, to Wilson and McCall of Canada, who are really right up at the top level of ice dancers.
Imagine, though, their teachers, their friends, you know, their relatives who have watched these kids grow up, say, here they are skating in the Olympics in our hometown. Has to be a great thrill.
You know, an interesting fact about ice dancing. Look at that marvelous step right there. That's excellent. An interesting fact about ice dancing is that the first International Skating Union competition, the first international competition, was not held until 1950. And then, although no American has ever won a world championship since then, that event was won by Americans Lois Waring and Michael McKeon, now of Dartmouth College. So in essence, the first international ice dancing competition was won by Americans.
Well, they didn't like those marks. The crowd here ranging from 4-6 to 5-0. Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union. They missed the European Championships because of illness, but they are here, and they are very much potential medalists. Bronze medalist 4 years ago at Sarajevo. But since then, they've been following Bestemianova and Bukin, always second. Husband and wife, as so many Soviet pairs and ice dancing couples are. In any event where two people go on the ice at the same time, the Soviets are very, very strong. Gordieva, of course, and her partner winning the pairs a few nights ago.
right on the beat. Crisp, clear timing. Oh, very crisp, clear stepping, too.
Well, they're not from Calgary, but the crowd here loved them just the same.
Well, they are truly elegant.
Coming up next are Viera and Bukin. This is big-time stuff right now. Interesting to see their marks. And
You can see how marvelously elegant the line is here. I mean, her back and her neck is just wonderful. They met early. She was very young, and now, of course, they're married, and it's a very romantic pair. They have a marvelous waltz line.
She was only 17 when they got married after the Sarajevo Olympics. And now, let's have a look at their marks. Oh, yes. That, I believe, will give them the lead. From 5-4 to a 5-8 for the Soviets.
I don't think there's any doubt that this couple will be right at the top. The question is whether they will be able to overcome their countrymen, Bestemianov and Bukin, who are about to skate.
And here they are. The favorites to win the gold medal here, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrzej Bukin of the Soviet Union. Still on the first of the 3 compulsory dances, remember this, called the Kilian.
Now, the difference between this couple and the previous couple is this one's greater flair, greater movement, sense of movement. More moves per second than the other ones, who are simple, traditional, and very elegant.
Unison of Russian pairs and ice dances is
Mind-boggling.
remarkable, isn't it?
Yes. In this dance, they are being extremely tight, with wonderful, deep outer edges. Look at them as they move around. No excess movement here, as we'll see it later in their free dance. Look at the depth there.
Privileged to watch something at this level.
The lean. Look at that. Wonderful.
All right. Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union, the favorites, and that is why.
I certainly think that there's probably little doubt that they will take first place over Klimova and Ponomarenko, whose real specialty is not in this Kilian dance. Look at that. Now look at the sweep of that movement. Look at the sweep, the lean, the preciseness of the stepping. Look at the lean that they're getting there, and the immediate lean over to this edge.
You'll hardly believe
This
these
is
marks. They've been computed, and let's put them up there. This is really impressive. As the crowd applauds. Look at that. 5-9, 5-8, 5-8, 5-7, 5-8, 5-8, 5-9, 5-8, and 5-8 on compulsory dances. That's really something.
Oh, you remember the 6s that Torvill and Dean got just 4 years ago?
Yep.
This couple was second to them at that time. They're wonderful dancers. They're wonderful dancers.
And as they say in Calgary after the first go-round, here are your standings. You have 2 Soviets, Canadians are 3rd. The Americans right now are in the number 5 position in the ice dancing, and we'll have more of that for you tonight. And also, of course, tonight,
ABC Sports and the Olympics, a long-standing partnership. Again, at the Winter Games of Calgary, the Olympic tradition continues. Showdown time for the United States hockey team in Calgary. Looking back over the past week, we've seen a kaleidoscope of ups and downs. The college kids from the USA have thrilled us and chilled us. They've scared the daylights out of the Soviet Union, scored electrifying goals, and made terrible mistakes. Now, tonight, they must defeat West Germany, and they must beat them by 2 goals. If they don't, it's all over for 1988.
I think we knew all along this was going to be an important game, and this would probably be the one that would put us in or out of the medal round. So we've been expecting a big game, and I think the games we've played so far have helped us. We've played well. We haven't got the results we wanted in some of the games, but I think we got some confidence out of them. We're pretty confident heading into this one.
Our goal at the beginning of the Olympics was to make the medal round, and it's still attainable. So as frustrating as it was, those 2 losses, we still can reach our goal, and it'll be important for all of us.
Well, we have our destiny in our own hands, so we can't ask for anything more than that. We don't have to hope that someone else beats someone, and so all we have to do is beat West Germans, and we're in. So that's a good position to be in.
But remember, Clark, you must win by 2 goals. Ice dancing is one of the most entertaining of all the Olympic winter sports. Natalia Bestemianova and Andrzej Bukin are world champions seeking their first Olympic gold medal. Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory are America's best, and you'll see the start of the ice dancing competition tonight. It looks like gymnastics on snow, and once upon a time they called it hot dog skiing. Now it's a recognized sport, freestyle skiing, looking for a permanent spot on the Olympic schedule. The women's aerials are on tonight's show. And another gold medal was won today in women's ski racing. It was in the Alpine Combined. Action all over Calgary tonight on skates and skis. A mountain can make a man feel very small until he climbs it. A long-wanted goal can seem overwhelming to him, too, until he achieves it. Goals are achieved and dreams become reality this week in Calgary at the 15th Olympic Winter Games. Hello, I'm Jim McKay. Last night was the first night of glory for the United States in these games of Calgary. Brian Boitano's gold in figure skating was the first of that color for the Americans in the entire games. Eric Flame won the first U.S. silver in speed skating. In the process, he served notice that he just might be the Eric Heiden of the future, if in fact there will ever be another Eric Heiden. And tonight, well, tonight is hanging by your fingernails time. The U.S. hockey team is down to its last chance to make the medal round. Beat West Germany by 2 goals or forget about a medal for another 4 years. The hockey will be live, of course, before some 20,000 people in the Saddle Dome. But we'll be all over Calgary and environs, as we are every night, skiing, skating, probably we'll check in downtown at the Plaza, and many other places of interest.
The 15th Olympic Winter Games. Brought to you by the American Express card. Membership has its privileges. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the card that cares for the U.S. Olympic team. AT&T, in long-distance services, information and network systems, telephones and computers, AT&T is the right choice. And Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
One thing I have to say about my accommodations this time, I must thank my employers for the comfort of them. As you can see, I have just about as comfortable a place to watch these games as you do at home, fireplace and all. The fireplace works. It's not a phony. Very nice place to welcome guests who might drop in. Today, compulsory dancing, it's not like compulsory school figures in the individual competition. This takes place to lilting music. It's beautiful to watch. It is entertaining. Earlier today, we showed you the first of 3 compulsory dances. Now we're going to show you the second, which is called the Paso Doble. Let's pick up our commentary. I was there today. At the end of the first compulsory dance, with 2 more to go, the standings are exactly as we would have expected. The 2 Soviet couples are leading the competition, followed by Wilson and McCall of Canada. Then we have the other Soviets, then Semanick and Gregory of the United States. That's exactly where they finished in last year's World Championship. And the Beck brother and sister from Austria. Warming up now for the second dance, which is called the Paso Doble. Dick, would you like to explain that to us?
Well, the Paso Doble is really a unique dance among all many compulsory dances. It's a dance drama. Now, this is the pattern on the ice. You see, it sort of will eventually end up looking like a peanut. But right now, you see that great bulge there, the steps across the bottom of the rink. We'll go into this in greater detail, but remember, there are 28 steps that make up the dance, those cross rolls right there, and that's the complete dance. 28 steps. It's really to be performed to music that is used for the formal procession into the bull ring of the matadors, the picadors, and the other retinue for the bullfight. It's a very formal, very structured dance, very tight.
There's Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory of the United States. His back did not seem to bother them on the first compulsory dance, but it's been a big story. We discussed it at the national championships, and here is Ken Forsyth, our sports medicine expert, to talk about his problem.
By far, most back injuries involve the muscles and supporting elements of the spine. Much more serious but less common are herniated discs. It's hard to believe that just 3 months ago, Scott Gregory suffered a herniated disc, the worst possible back injury you could have. It happened during a training session just like this one, doing a lift where he had to bend and twist, the perfect combination for injury.
Well, it's the type of lift that is on the borderline of being a correct way of lifting and not being a correct way of lifting, where I was bent over and twisted at the same time.
It's the largest herniated disc I have seen in my 20 years as a neurologist.
Here's where Scott's injury was. When a disc herniates, some of the disc material actually pops out and pushes on this nerve that comes off the spinal cord. Even though the injury is right here, what you feel is a burning and searing pain in the buttocks and down the leg. 10 years ago, surgery would probably have been the automatic course of treatment for Scott.
We had offered the option of surgery and considered that, which was a legitimate option, but if he had had surgery, there's no question that he would not have been able to compete at the Nationals and therefore not at the Olympics and almost certainly not at the Worlds.
Today, with the new approach and the advanced tools of sports medicine, even very serious injuries, including herniated discs, can often be treated without surgery. And one of the most important things is strengthening the muscles that support the joints. But the course of rehabilitation is often a frustrating one.
I remember when I was allowed to, skate with him, and that was so slow. I mean, it was just doing a stroke up the ice on 2 feet, basically. I remember he was really shaky, and I couldn't stop crying.
His recovery is absolutely amazing and absolutely miraculous. We gave him the cortisone, we gave him the bed rest, we had the physical therapy, the back brace. All of those things help, but I think his tremendous conditioning was probably more important, and his determination.
For me, it was like learning how to skate all over, and it was a fun challenge. I can remember, gosh, I can really improve my technique this way. And people were saying that you've improved your style, your posture. Right after Nationals, we weren't 100%. Just last week, we were up to about 98%, and now I feel that everything's back to normal.
And now here they are on the ice for the second of 3 compulsory dances, the Paso Doble.
These are the introductory steps. Now look at the steps, the side steps right there. Now the scissor step, a swing along. Watch him do and turn it back. Swing around the bottom of the... Now watch here. The cross rolls very deep, and her a quick open mohawk. Remember, this dance is totally different than the Kilian that we saw earlier. In this dance, which we will see more of, the man acts as, really represents the torero. the toreador, and the lady is the cape. Now, sometimes ladies have difficulty visualizing themselves as being the cape draped around the man's neck, and particularly when he uses her to attract the bull to attack the cape and not himself. He has to convince her that it's the cloth that is the enemy, and that the man is really in a mere appendage of very little interest.
Well, Susie makes a very attractive cape. And here are their marks coming up. 5-4s and 5-3s, a 5-2 from Austria, 5-0 from Great Britain. And we'll be right back with more of this competition after this message and a word from your local station. And here is that Soviet couple on their way up, trying to fight their way into a medal position. They were fourth in the World Championships last year. Their fourth gear coming to the second compulsory dance. Natalia, Annenko, and Genrikh Sretenski.
In this dance really can, to a certain degree, be related to the entrance in the bull ring. For example, these moves right here are progressive. The entrance into the bull ring, the sighting of the bull. Then the second section, a respite. And then this, another charge. And finally, the pass with the cape when she makes a turn in that last dance step.
Annenko and Sretenski of the Soviet Union. Partners for 5 years. It's taken them a long way to fight their way towards the medal position in international competition.
Well, they're really quite wonderful. They have great elegance and style. Look at it here. It's marvelous, you know. They're really wonderful.
Right. They are standing by for their marks.
You know, by describing this as a bullfight and a man with his cape, I'm talking about the Paso Doble itself. This is a compulsory dance, and of course...
Winter Games.
After any great event in your life, win or lose, is usually a kind of a restless time. We wondered how Brian Boitano and Brian Orser felt after their memorable battle of last evening in the Olympic Saddle Dome. First, let's check in with Brian Boitano with Donna de Verona in the Olympic Village.
With me is America's gold medalist, Brian Boitano, and everybody wants to see you, but they're not going to get to hear you, are they?
No, not tonight.
All the tension, you think, and all the excitement maybe helped you lose your voice?
I think I haven't gotten too much sleep and all the interviews.
Linda, did you ever expect this kind of response? I know you planned for it, but you don't ever plan as an Olympic athlete or a coach with what comes after a gold medal victory.
I think everybody's response and interest has been overwhelming, and I think that Brian gave everything to his program last night. He couldn't sleep last night, and he got up and did interviews this morning, and he gave it all, and there's nothing left, but he loves you.
And what did you do last night?
I think we had a party that the USOC put on for us, and there was a long press conference, and then I think Brian went to try to sleep and was so excited he couldn't sleep.
How many interviews do you think you're going to have to do this week? I know you've already got the request. How many requests already?
I don't know how many requests, but he has to wait till he gets his voice back until he can fulfill them. So we're just letting him wave at you.
One thing, whisper it to America that you'd like to say, and we'll put the microphone real close to you.
I want to thank America for all the support. Without them, I could have never done it.
Nice going. Thanks for stopping by.
Brian, sounds like my colleagues in the control room are going to sound after their 11 hours on the air by the time we finish this evening. The other man, of course, in that great performance last night was Brian Orser of Canada. Like Brian Boitano, he really put on the performance of a lifetime. Let's go back and watch a little of that performance just with the music. And let's watch. Brian Orser live with us right now in our studio, not hoarse and quite able to speak. I guess you couldn't hear Brian Boitano, but his voice is gone.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, he can't talk at all.
He's probably had a day like I've had.
I think he's had a day very similar to the one you've had. You've been telling me about all kinds of interviews and receptions and that business.
Yeah, I think that's all part of it, and we have to spend some time with the media, and you know, they have their work to do also. So we started at 7 o'clock this morning and have been going right through the day, and also some time with some of our corporate sponsors and spent some time with them also.
Brian, looking at your performance now, thinking back to it last night, honestly, what kind of a mark would you have given yourself?
Oh, that's hard to say. I particularly like the Czechoslovakian mark, the 5.960.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. It's hard to make a fair judgment on it right now at this time of the...
Yeah. But when you finished, you had a kind of a grateful look on your face. Were you thinking then that was good enough?
Yes. Honestly, I thought when I finished the program that it was good enough to win. I didn't have any idea how Brian Boitano had skated, and I can't really say that was the performance of a lifetime for me, because it was not my best, but I felt that it would have been enough to win. And
where could you have been better? You had one slip.
I had one slip.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made the difference.
But the rest, you did exactly what you wanted to do?
Yeah, pretty well. And it was only a difference of 0.1 from one judge that made the difference, so it was very, very close. And I think the one slip made the difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly was one of the great battles of all figure skating history. We congratulate you on your performance, on the way you accepted that narrow loss with great sportsmanship, and there's a long future ahead of you. Brian, thank you so much for coming into the studio. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We're going back to more skating right now, to the Paso Doble in the ice dancing competition that began this morning. Here we go. Things going pretty much according to form so far in the compulsory dances of the ice dancing competition here at the Olympics. This is the brother and sister, Catherine and Christoph Beck from Austria, 6th at the end of the first dance, and they were 6th in last year's World Championships.
Remember, this is Spanish music, very powerful, used for the formal procession into the bullfight, and these steps reflect to a certain degree the steps of a bullfight. Terribly important here. There's a large difference of height between this couple, and that doesn't help them.
Bertrand and Christophe Beck.
They are very, very traditional dancers. Their freestyle particularly is in the standardized form of free dancing. Now, if you're looking at that dance sort of from sitting way up in the seats, this is the pattern it would take. There are 28 steps to complete the dance. Straight steps, scissor steps right there, a large outward bulge here, a sort of respite for the bullfighter according across the end of the circle, and right here, another attack, curving edges, a fast turn on the part of the lady, and that completes the dance.
There are the marks. 5.2 to 5.5 for the Becks.
5.2, 5.4.
And now, the team in second place after the first dance, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko, bronze medalist at Sarajevo 4 years ago. They missed the European Championships this year because he had a case of hepatitis. He says he feels fine now.
This couple is really superb in the waltz moves. They are better in this dance than they were even in the Kilian.
The waltz yet to come, of course.
And the Kilian, of course, was earlier. Look at this crispness here, though. And the expression, the difference in the way they do the upper body movements through this is very, very different. Now, watch a fast turn on her part. Side steps, chassés, those are called. And you see how different she is in that position from the other dancers that we've seen so far. They can have variety in the upper body. It doesn't all have to be somber. Sure. Right there. You notice they take very few steps at the conclusion of the dance and very few steps at the beginning. They are not allowed more than 7 steps to get into a dance, and they are not allowed to do excess work at the end of the dance. The judges really, really will mark them down if they take that liberty. Look at how beautiful this couple is. Isn't she? She's marvelous. She just draws your attention right to her face. And the crispness, look at the lean here, and the tightness, and the cleanness. I mean, this is really wonderful. Very, very nice. Now watch him step forward as they come around the edge. Just see it, very, very nice.
Now let's see what the marks for Mr. and Mrs. Ponomarenko are. Outstanding, a 1.56 from West Germany, everything else 5.7 except for a 5.8 from the Soviet Union.
And those are wonderful marks. They're very, very good. Many people in the world feel that they are better than Bestemianova and Bukin.
All right, yet to come are the leaders, Bestemianova and Bukin. We'll be back for that. We continue with the second of 3 compulsory dances in the ice dancing competition. Here are the leaders and the favorites, Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union. They are special.
And she really has a flair for this dance. She is very dramatic, very florid. Considerably more dynamic than Klimova. Movement there as she, yep. Right there, the head. This is a true Spanish origin music, the Paso Doble, the double step. Right. See how neatly they lift the feet off the ice.
last year's World Championship. They got 6 perfect marks of 6.0 for artistic impression.
How do you like that?
They are something else.
Didn't I tell you they have extra flair and dynamism? Actually, they've kept their flair quite a bit out of the actual dance. They skated that very tightly, very conservatively for them.
Natalia and Andrzej Bukin.
Interestingly enough, also, there was less swing in the dance than Klimova had. They've really worked at staying very much within the confines and the conservative, tight control of this dance. Right. Now watch him step forward.
And the marks. 5.9 from the Soviet Union. Look at that. 3 5.9s to start off, then a 5.7 from West Germany. Everything else 5.8s and 5.9. And now the big favorites here in Canada, Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall. They have started out with medal potential, 3rd after the first dance. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Good speed in this dance. Remember, it's important to maintain your speed throughout the whole dance and to keep each pattern going. And of course, it's crucial through all of this that the timing be exactly according to schedule. Sometimes I would think clapping like this might throw them off, but
it's in time with the music.
This pattern considerably smaller than some of the others.
Okay. The Canadians, Tracy Wilson and Robert McCall. He's the artist in this pair, she the technician, normally.
They have a rather interesting, I think, very homegrown kind of look. They're not at all the pseudo-sophisticates that some of the dancers, position that some of the dancers can take.
Let's see if they can hold their position in a minute.
There's a kind of smiling aggressiveness right here that is powerful.
5.5, 5.6, 5.6.
And now for the marks, here they come. 5.7, 5.8, 5.5, 5.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6. Should hold them in 3rd place, but we'll find out. So at the end of the second compulsory dance, as expected, Bestemianova and Bukin lead, followed by their countrymen, Klimova and Ponomarenko, then the very popular Canadian team. 4th, 5th, and 6th, well, that's the other Soviet team, Semanick and Gregory from the USA, and the Becks from Austria. Still to come, the Viennese Waltz. Compulsory dance segment, the first day of competition of ice dancing. The final dance is the most beautiful of all, the Viennese Waltz. Let's rejoin our commentary. It took place earlier today, and I was there with Dick Button. With one compulsory dance to go, here are the standings. The 2 couples representing the Soviet Union, 1st and 2nd, followed by the very strong Canadian pair. In 4th place, another Soviet team, then the Americans, and the Austrian brother and sister. That final dance, compulsory dance, is the Viennese Waltz. Takes us way back into the last century.
And look at this marvelous ice carnival. White tie and tails, gloves on the men, the elegant ladies. Isn't it a special moment? Now you know where we get our black tie when we do these programs. Now, the waltz itself is a wonderfully patterned dance. Here you see the first few steps as they start, the swinging motion as it goes around the end of the arena. The pattern itself, 2 moves there, man and lady turned equally. Lovely, lovely moments, quick progressive little steps right here. Just a very elegant and beautiful dance. At this point, the lady is leading, the man trying, and here, a great swinging back edge.
You can almost feel the rhythm in that pattern on ice. Ever since they won a bronze medal 4 years ago at Sarajevo, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko have been skating in the shadow of their teammates, Vestemianova, Puki. Now they're in second place, just behind those teammates.
And the waltz is her specialty. Lovely bar, just lovely.
Today, but they'll be back tomorrow with the original set program and with the big final in the Saddle Dome, primetime Tuesday.
Look at these edges, the deep curves, the arch of her back. Beautiful. You know, it's very hard to figure out how the judges come to the final score that they eventually pick out. But what they are looking for is their carriage. First of all, the pattern that they're skating, then the carriage and the timing to the music and the dance quality of it. All the way throughout the rules, you keep seeing reference to dance quality, dancing, dancing. And look at it here. It just is wonderful. This is their specialty. They do this waltz so well. That's the technical merit right there. Lovely softening. Look at the stretch of her leg to the back.
Okay, as you said, it's their specialty. Let's see what the marks are going to be. That's the way they looked on the ice. Here they are awaiting the marks. And here they come.
Well, they're all 5.7s to 5.9s with mostly 5.8s. Now that's a very good stretch of marks for them.
Here they are being illustrated for us. Excellent marks for Klimova and Ponomarenko.
Really more Cossack than it is the waltz costume. But look at the flow. Cross, hold, cross. Now watch him turn. Now here they both do two moves, a Choctaw Mohawk combination, turn, swing, and progressives. Now he's skating backwards, she forward, and look at the swing of this edge right there. 1, 2, 3. Cross, hold, lovely. It's a much bigger dance than we saw with Klimova and Ponomarenko. Interestingly, her back falls lower and the head holds up higher than we saw with Marina Klimova, who kind of held herself in the more traditional and I think perfect position.
Unlike most Soviet couples, they are not married to each other. He's married, she isn't.
Very lovely. Very nice. I think this will probably be the last year of dancing competitively in certainly the Olympic Games for this couple. She is married to Igor Bogdan,
That's right.
the great skater, the great solo skater, and he tours as a professional elsewhere in the Soviet Union.
So they're both married, but not to each other.
She has marvelous body for dancing. Her legs are long and straight, superb. Look at this now, the edging here. That is magnificent. The line, the lean of the body, the stretch of the legs. The lean going quickly from one edge to another. It's spectacular.
Waiting their marks. You hear them from the announcer, and here they are visually. 5.9s from the first three judges, a 5.7, a 5.6, a 5.7, a couple more 5.9s and a 5.8. Still to come, the third place team coming into the waltz, the Canadians, Wilson and McCall. Beautiful waltzing in the compulsory ice dance competition. It really is something to watch. It's a change of pace from the hockey. We'll go back to that later. Here we go. And now, the Canadians in third place, and you hear a war whoop from the stands as Tracy Wilson and Robert McCall begin. They're in bronze medal position. There's a long way to go, but this is the final compulsory dance today for them.
That long edge which completes the dance. Remember, this is the third compulsory, the Viennese waltz. We've already seen the Kilian and the Paso Doble. Double turn, the stretch of the legs together. Very handsome. Matched free legs. Nice forward swing.
Seldom hear that kind of applause in the middle of a waltz. And at the end of the waltz, this couple.
You can understand where this enthusiasm for the dance came. It was really 100 years that it lasted. A dance mania in Vienna. Absolutely took over the attention of the populace. It was an extraordinary phenomenon.
And the Canadians would rather not let their couple go. The maple leaf flies high. But the judges will be dispassionate, we assume.
Look here, you can see really the lovely comparison between the unison of the legs between the two of them. Look at the line there. The lean, the crisp edge, and the upper body expressing the lilting form of the dance, the smile on their faces, the up and down movement. All expresses the form of the waltz. Happy. Lovely.
Now we'll be seeing their scores. You can see by their smiles as they come up, those marks are excellent. 5.6, 5.7, 5.6, 5.6, 5.8 from Italy, 5.6, another 5.8 from Great Britain, and a couple of 5.7s.
5.8, 5.7.
Very good marks for this team in third place after the first two compulsory dances. And now representing the United States, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory. They've skated very well so far. They're in fifth position. Coming to the final dance.
And just remember, this waltz must be lilting and graceful. And the speed must never slow. Now that little That little glitz there, and that's clearly because of the ice in my book. I simply don't see that as being a mistake. Oh my gosh! I mean, this is disaster.
It's the end of them.
Absolutely.
In the ice dancing contest.
And
no hope from here on.
Nope. Now, I don't know what caused that unless that was another ice catch.
Again, the reason Dick says that is because in this compulsory dances, everyone is skating basically the same pattern rather than using the entire ice. So skating well down in the order, they're on ice that's quite rutted.
You know, mistakes just usually don't happen in compulsory ice dancing. It's very unusual to see that.
Dan Jansen never fell down before either. Things happen.
Sad moment because that's going to knock them right out of the box on this dance and in the overall, I think in the overall markings.
Susie managed to smile. Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory, they've worked so hard, and he's skated right through a major back problem.
Now watch right here. You see her on a forward outside edge. Here, oops. It looked like her toe was caught right on his, and obviously they were just so close and doing such a right there. Yep,
there it is.
Their toes clicked. Now that was not an ice problem. I think his glitch clearly was an ice rut.
This was just,
or at least that's the way it looked to us from here. Well,
so they know they made a mistake.
Listen, it happens.
All we can do is live with it. But so often it seems to happen in the Olympics.
And usually falls and problems, bad ice, i.e., happens on a triple throw lift.
Yeah, that's
never on just a gentle edge.
Pretty tough to manage a smile, Susie, as you can see.
Well, this is, this is many years of practice. It isn't just one moment. And there you can see they are so close. They must be close in this dance. And they must be parallel, their bodies, not in the form of a teepee.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
I mean, they've practiced that step hundreds of hours. Now, the one time it counts, it wasn't there. Mark's really quite good considering the two mistakes. 1-4-8 from West Germany, everything else, at least 5 are over. Let's go down to David Santee.
Scott, one can never expect when something like that happens. Can you explain what took place?
Just misfortune with an edge, that's all.
There was a little slip up right before that. Did that have any effect on the fall?
No, I don't think so. They're totally two different things.
How's your back right now?
Doing very well. Thank you.
Representing Italy, the prochain concurrent représentant l'Italie.
And so, the hopes of the Americans, who are in a well-placed 5th, have gone a-glimmering in ice dancing.
Representing the Soviet Union, the Union Soviétique, Natalia Annenko and Genrikh.
And now the team in 4th place from the Soviet Union, Natalia Annenko and Genrikh Sretenski. Last year. Still trying to crack that medal range in the top 3.
And a very festive opening steps. He has an unusual position. All the other dancers have extended the foot with the partners. Right here, there, he does it in the opposite direction. Particular look at the upper backs. They're marvelous. Marvelous. That's the way to express the character and the lilt and the quality of the waltz. Really, you know, they're marvelous dancers. They really look like it's almost a wedding cake, or isn't it, with the music behind it. Now look right there, the expression between the two of them. And the bend, the back, her back is exquisite. And he partners her very, very well. The precise crossovers, the side steps. Now watch her turn and the swing and the edge, the deepness of the edge. Look at that inside edge, wonderful. Those, the Choctaw Mohawk turns, and don't ask me what the names mean, except turns.
That's what they call them. You can see how close the skates do come together.
Oh,
now, it could happen.
Absolutely. In fact, it happens frequently.
Well, look at that, a 5'9" from the British judge.
And a 5'3" from the American judge.
Yep. 5'7" from their own Soviet judge.
Now, that's a fair differential. Full 0.6 of a point.
Yes, it is. And so, as they move to the original set pattern tomorrow, there are the standings. Vestemianova and Buchan as expected leading, followed by their teammates. Then the very strong Canadian team of Wilson and McCall in a medal position at the moment. Then another Soviet team, the Austrians, the brother and sister Becks, have moved ahead of Semanick and Gregory of the United States because of that disastrous fall. Tomorrow, as I said, original set pattern, Tuesday night in the big Saddle Dome before almost 20,000, the free skating phase.
Two brilliant performances skated last night in men's figure skating. Brian Boitano took the gold. Brian Orser, he took the silver. He's with us live when we return.
The 15th Olympic Winter Games, brought to you by Team Xerox, world leader in document processing. We document the world. And Frosted Mini Wheats, the lightly sweetened shredded whole wheat cereal.
Last night here in Calgary, there were two brilliant performances by Brian Boitano of the United States, Brian Orser of Canada. One took the gold, one took the silver. Let's take a look at part of Brian Orser's program. It was brilliantly skated. Brian Orser is with us now. Brian, as you concluded that last night, what were your thoughts? Did you think you had it?
Yeah, actually, at that moment when I hit my last pose in the program, I felt that I did have the gold medal. And because I had skated relatively cleanly, and I felt really good about it. With considering all the pressure and the whole situation, I really felt good about it.
Yeah, when you came in earlier this evening, I said, what's tougher, facing the cameras and all the interviews today, or what you did last night?
I think it's the day after that's the hardest part, and reflecting back on the night before, and having very little sleep, and spending the whole day with media and press, and so that they can do their story properly, and also spend some time with some sponsors and people like that.
Brian, as you look back on last night's program, where do you think you could have improved? What could you have done better, or what would you have done differently as you look back on it?
Well, hindsight is 20/20.
Absolutely.
And there was one jump that I had a slip, and I stepped out of very quickly. And I think that's really what cost me the 1/10 of a mark that I was missing in the technical merit from one judge that cost me the gold medal. So it was very, very close, and that's what made it so hard afterwards, was that it was so close. It was just 0.1 from one judge.
You're the defending world champion. Next month, you head on to Budapest for the championships. You're going to change any of your strategy, any of your training?
No, actually, I've been training well, and I didn't do my absolute best here in Calgary, so there's still room for me to do my best, and we'll just carry on with the regular training, and I'm going to spend some time here in Calgary for the rest of the games, and I'll do some training while I'm here, and then back home and right back to it.
Brian, let me ask you, we had a fascinating shot just before you took the ice last night, and I heard you tell Jim McKay tonight that you really didn't know how Boitano did, but right here, outside of the arena, and you can see you're into what I think you call the visualization of what you're planning and what's coming up. Now, you have a sports psychologist, and maybe you can tell us what you were doing at that moment.
At that moment, that was when Brian Boitano was skating, actually.
Yes.
And it's usually 2 skaters before I skate. I will walk through my program, and I will visualize my program, and I'll visualize every step, and I'll feel it. And the one reason for that is just to kill time and to keep my mind occupied so that I'm not wandering and I'm not thinking of anything negative. And also just to get in touch with the program. And then when I finished doing my walkthrough, it was almost time for me to skate. And I didn't have to wait those the 10 minutes that seemed like 10 hours sometimes.
Sure. The waiting must be unbearable.
You're absolutely right.
Would you have preferred skating first last night?
Well, it's hard to say. I have skated well in every position because that's one thing that Dr. Jensen and I have covered. We simulated competitions and we've simulated skating in every position so that I'm ready and can deal with each position. Now, last year at the World Championships when I won, I skated first, as Brian Boitano did here in Calgary. And I prefer to skate before my competitors. But, for instance, at Skate Canada in October, I beat Brian Boitano skating after him. So it's half a dozen and 1/6 of the other.
Brian, how tough will it be now waiting a full month until you have an opportunity? You're an athlete. You love to compete. How tough is it going to be now waiting this month before you have a chance at Boitano again?
It'll be okay. I've got some things to work on, and I'll need the time. I'll need the downtime before I go back up again, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure Brian Boitano's looking forward to it also, and I'm sure the press is looking forward to it. So I think it'll be a good time had by all in Budapest.
Brian, thank you for being with us. Again, congratulations on last night.
Thank you.
You have a lot of friends south of the border, and you made a lot more last night.
You sure did.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be coming back to Calgary.